the Science of Mind Daily Guides. This one, of course, is for Friday, the 20th of September, 2024. And it's the beginning of the weekend, at least it is for me. Although, being in the professions I'm in, the weekend really doesn't mean no work. Sometimes the opposite, but there we are. I don't know why my shirt keeps crimping up here. But anyway, there we are. Today's reading is called Answer the Call of Spirit. And I'll tell you this, there's a challenge in here, and it's challenging. So let's see what it's all about, shall we? The first quote is from Tiny Guru. I didn't know what Tiny Guru was. I didn't have a clue, so I Googled it. The only thing I can come up with that seems to fit is that it's an organization that helps kids develop financial tools to deal with the world. If that's not what it is, then somebody let me know. But that's all I could come up with. Tiny Guru. Don't let the noise of the world cover the soft voice of the heart. Don't let the noise of the world cover the soft voice of the heart. There was another similar thing out there called Little Guru, but that turned out to be an organization that helps people to learn Sanskrit. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. And I actually started going down the rabbit hole of that when I found it and had to stop myself. I'm going to go back to it later on. Ernest Holmes in 365 Science of Mind, where else? On page 270 says, I sense in the peaceful silence of the dawn a divine authority at the center of my being that announces itself in every moment and event of my day. I sense in the peaceful silence of the dawn a divine authority at the center of my being that announces itself in every moment and event of my day. That was Ernest Holmes, 365 Science of Mind. I'm going to read this through and then I'll let you think about it maybe for a minute. Just think, there could be a day when we sit in our morning meditation without a timer. Yeah, I've done that. A day when we can stretch on the yoga mat without the phone nearby. I have not taken up my yoga again. There can be a day when our gratitude practice is not confined to a time of day. True, but instead is a joyful lingering with the creator of all gifts. Source, if you like, God, depending which word you choose to use. A day to read, to contemplate, to welcome, and to allow. Now, this is it. For many years now, I have powered down all electronics on what I call Spirit Sundays. It was a little stressful at first, but I quickly got used to dialing down the worldly drama and opening up to the simple joys of the soul. I have no doubt that Spirit Sundays alone magnify my clarity and replenish my spiritual energy for the entire week ahead. The practice of keeping a Sabbath inspired this idea. Remember to keep holy the Sabbath day, one of the 10 Commandments. The word Sabbath originates in the word Sabbat, meaning to stop, to dwell, or to rest. It honors the biblical account of God resting following 6 days of creation. We too need rest after 6 full days of worldly ways. Spirit Sundays provide us a day to honor the sacred spirit, to remember that our wisdom and clarity originate in moments of stillness and listening. After all of our doing this week, it is a retreat for the soul to step off the train of constant connectivity to bask in uninterrupted being. Consider unplugging each week to recharge your heart, create with your hands, nourish your soul, and answer the call of spirit. Peaceful energy is just a breath away. So my question to you and me is, could I do it? Can you do it? I think it will be difficult on a Sunday because part of what I do on Sunday is actually monitor the service at our spiritual center, not the people in the room, but online, to see if there's anything that we need to deal with. I know at least 3 of us monitor what's going on online, and you'll see if you ever go online to watch our service, you'll see responses from Creative Life Spiritual Center and links to things that Reverend Jesse or another speaker has mentioned. Is it possible? Yes. Would it be easy to do? No, not in the sense of putting stuff up one side. I think I could do that. I think that Mary Davis lives on her own. In fact, that's the impression I got from one of the really early readings, right at the beginning of this month's readings. And I think if you live on your own in a cabin or a house a little bit away from everywhere, off the beaten path, it's probably a lot easier. But if you're mixed up in a family, if you're mixed up in an organization that meets on Sundays, then it's probably going to be a lot more difficult. So what I'm thinking is there's got to be ways of unplugging without necessarily having to turn off the phone. Maybe one way is to spend a little time each day where we definitely do not look at our phone, look at our other electronic equipment, and just be. I mean, aside from times when we're in meditation or mindfulness or breathing or whatever. So I think it's a brilliant idea. I'm sure it's incredibly beneficial. The question is it practical for everybody? I would say no, it's not practical for everybody. Is it practical for some and possible for some people? Absolutely. Could we kind of go somewhere in the middle by mostly unplugging? Say, not answering emails on a Sunday, not looking at emails on a Sunday, not looking at text on a Sunday. Might be possible. Or maybe, since our phones are getting more sophisticated, just allowing the really important ones. So if something urgent or really important comes up, we can let that through the filter. But otherwise, we just ignore everything. And I think it'll be pretty good. The other thing we can do, and I'm trying to do it now actually, and I know one of my practitioner friends, Michael Levinson, is also trying to do it, which is unsubscribe to emails. Because I don't know about you, but I get literally at least a couple of hundred emails a day. And I unsubscribe, I delete, and they seem to breed. So leaving them for a whole day, well, I don't know. So I'm looking for ways to actually better unsubscribe. You know, you can hit the unsubscribe button on a lot of them, but they seem to find a way around it. So I'm going to look for an app, even to have to pay for it, that really and truly does zap a lot of the emails coming in. So, and I don't care where they go. That's my take on this. I think it's a brilliant idea and it's a good idea, but is it practical for everybody? No, and I'm still thinking about it. And if I come up with an alternative which is suitable for busy people and kind of a compromise on this, or when I come up with one, I'll let you know. And I'll talk to my ministerial and practitioner colleagues about this and see what we can come up with. How's that? The affirmation is really affirming that we do this, saying, I bless my life with undistracted time for peace and spiritual connection. I bless my life with undistracted time for peace and spiritual connection. So maybe, you know what we could do? We could probably say, okay, I'm going to begin by saying for 2 hours during Sunday, I won't look at anything electronic, nothing, unless it's a dire emergency. I won't look at it. I'll just let it go for 2 hours, see how that goes, and see if that can be expanded. And I think it's kind of like exercise. You know, they tell you to do, 140 minutes of exercise a week, and you can break that down to 20 minutes a day, right? Now they might have increased it, but let's say it's right, 20 minutes a day. Thing is, though, you don't have to do that whole thing 20 consecutive minutes. You can actually split it up and still get pretty well as much benefit from doing that. So I wonder if that's the same with the spiritual thing, that we can split it up into smaller amounts and put it down in our diary or on our phone. I use my phone. My wife physically uses a calendar or a diary. And just put it in there and call it personal time and just blot it out and see how that goes. So Reverend Lisa will be on tomorrow morning at 9 or 9:30-ish. I'll be back tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock. So until then, have a great rest of the day. And if this is the start of your weekend, have a wonderful weekend. Please visit us in person or online on Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Time. Let me see, 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 Mountain, 12 Eastern, and let me see, what time would it be in Europe? It will be another 6 hours on from that. So from 11, it will be 5 p.m. in Britain, and it will be 6 p.m. on the continent of Europe. Wherever else you are in the world, you can work it out. So until next time, namaste.